Are we good? Honestly, I'm feeling a little bit bloated right now because I ate a burrito.
Big lunch?
Big lunch. Like, seriously, these pants fit last night. Now I feel like I'm in a vice grip. Like, seriously, it's intense.
You look fine.
Do I look okay? Is my hair getting frizzy?
Yeah.
It's not falling flat?
100%.
Are we ready?
You want to take one?
Okay.
You look fine.
Ladies, girls, fellow females, my name is Monique and I'm 100% that girl. That girl who's crazy crying one minute and a boss the next. Prone to human moments, but can still show off, show out, and be the best version of herself. I have bad hair days and days when I'm glammed up and on point. I can be hormonal and insane, yet calm and caring. I have days that I feel like what Beyonce feels like when she says, I woke up like this, and days when I want to crawl back into the bed and shut the blinds and get under the covers. Days when I put my best foot forward, and days that I feel like I've taken 10 steps back. I am all of it. I'm 100% that girl, and everything being a girl means, the highs, the lows, the joy, the pain, the fear, and the confidence, that's me. And the odds are that's you too. Because even in our complexities, the differences in our personalities, likes, dislikes, taste in guys, taste in food, we can all relate to each other in one way or another. In fact, I'm pretty sure when it comes to some of the challenges we face as girls, the feelings that we feel, the struggles that are so real, I'm totally with you. Truth is, I've been doing this girlhood thing a little bit longer than you. So I know what's up, and I've learned some things about myself and others that might be able to help you through this stage of life. I realize now that all I really needed when I was a teenage girl was a little help, encouragement, and support. And who am I kidding? I still need all those things, and I probably always will. We're all just out here trying to figure it out. So consider this a crash course, a sort of how-to guide, a hangout with me, your best friends, maybe your mom, who might even be your best friend. I know mine is. Your sister, or maybe you're in a school with a teacher or some counselors. Whoever you're with, I'm inviting you to join me in a conversation about being 100% that girl. I really like my name. Monique is a fire name. It always made me feel kind of bougie because it was French, and I may have told people that I was born and raised in France, in Paris to be exact, in a royal family. I wasn't. People would always compliment it as if I had something to do with it. Oh my gosh, I love your name. Thanks, I had nothing to do with it. Or they say something corny like, oh, Monique, that's unique. That's original. It happens more often than I'd like to admit. Speaking of unique, I learned early on that referring to somebody as unique was a polite way of saying, you're different. Kind of like telling someone they look tired. That's a polite way of saying, you look ratchet. And I certainly was different. I always felt different, like the odd one out, or obscure. And being different really wasn't a good thing back then. First off, I was one of the only Indian kids in my class, and I went to a school that had mostly white kids. That made me feel kind of weird. I remember another girl came up to me and asked me, why is your skin all dirty? I thought like she was talking about me not washing my face or something, but she was actually talking about the color of my skin. I took a look around me and I realized I was one of the only brown-skinned girls in my class. I felt so awkward. If only someone had told me, hey, don't worry. In 2020, Beyonce's gonna write a song called Brown Skin Girl, all about girls who look like you, and it's gonna be nominated for a Grammy. But nobody did that. Secondly, I was culturally different. My parents were immigrants, and they had different ideas about how to raise girls and the role of girls in society. It was super old school. I noticed quickly that the rules were different for me than they were for my brother. He was allowed to pretty much do whatever he wanted, but me, no way. My parents believed girls were fragile and needed extra protection. I'm pretty sure they thought that if I left the house, I'd get pregnant or die. So while my bro was out having fun and being a kid, I had to stay home and fold laundry, sweep the kitchen, learn to cook. I very much identified with every Disney princess before Mulan. And lastly, I was tall and overweight. This meant that I was nominated as the goalie in every sport because I offered the most coverage to the net. I wasn't the first girl asked to the dance. I was even told that I needed to lose weight if I wanted to stay on the cheerleading squad. Mean people made fun of me. Guys said hurtful things behind my back and to my face. And I felt like I had to fight for the like and approval of others. On top of that, we weren't rich. My mom actually got sick when I was in the 7th grade and was unable to work. She wasn't around much because she was always in the hospital. 13 is a hard age to not have a mom around. I felt even more different because my drip wasn't all that fly like everyone else's. And no one outright called me poor, but it was pretty clear that the clothes you wore with the right labels defined how popular you were. And I wasn't popular. These are only a few of the things that made me feel different. There was plenty more where that came from. It didn't occur to me then that being different doesn't have to be a bad thing. It shouldn't be a bad thing either, because every single person is different from the next. No two people are the exact same. You can't be me, and I can't be you. And when you really think about it, why would anybody want to be anyone but themselves? Our uniqueness is what makes us individuals. No one wants to be told how to think and act. Our differences are what makes life so interesting. We all have a story and experiences that are unique to us, and when we live and exist, we get to share that experience and story for others to take in, learn from, and participate in. Maybe some of you have traveled to a different country, and everything is different. The smells, the food, the people, down to the vegetation. I remember I went to Costa Rica and looked at all the different plants like growing in the ground. They look so unfamiliar, and I was so fascinated by all these different colors and patterns, shapes and textures. It's kind of like us girls. All of our differences are what makes us so fascinating. Yet we're all trying to fit in and conform to some idealistic standard, usually what's deemed popular on socials. Today, I want to give you permission to be you, to actually celebrate yourself, because here's the truth about you. You have value. What does that even mean? To be valuable means that you have worth. Your life, all of it, everything that makes you you adds value to this world. The sad part is that we kind of hear and see an opposite message to this on TV, social media, or even by people we know. Sometimes it can feel like in order to be valued, you have to bring something to the table, like an achievement or a talent, or even by your personal appearance, or if you have money or come from a wealthy family. But as far as value goes, none of these things actually change your self-worth. How you see yourself is really an inside job. It can't be bought, caught, or even given to you by another person. Your value stands alone and exists simply because you have life. You breathe, your heart beats. The United Nations mission statement even declares that every human life has value and rights, and nothing changes that. I'm someone who spent a lot of my teen years trying to earn my value. I didn't feel valuable on my own. I didn't get the best grades. I wasn't the most popular. I didn't play sports. I wasn't a regulation hottie. In fact, I felt devalued. I was bullied, abused, and I wasn't nurtured in a way that made me feel loved or important. And because of this, I tried extra hard to get the approval of those around me, because on my own, I just didn't feel good enough. And to be honest, living that way was really painful and exhausting. It caused me to struggle with depression, anxiety, insecurity. I had all sorts of fears of rejection, fears of being unloved, fear of abandonment, and I masked all of these feelings with unhealthy coping mechanisms, like binge eating, drinking, smoking pot. But none of those things solved my problem. I had to start addressing all of these issues if I really wanted to start enjoying all that life had to offer. So with some help from a counselor, I started to understand that all the negative things I'd experienced didn't determine my self-worth and value. My experiences made me feel some type of way, but feelings aren't shaped by truth. Let's talk about feelings for a second. I remember being a kid and feelings were pretty simple: happy, sad, and then various synonyms for happy and sad. But they got a bit more complex as I got older, and I realized that feelings are healthy and normal. They're a response to a trigger. Here's an example. If you feel hungry, it's gonna lead to a thought, probably about food, because you're hungry. So picture this, you're chilling in class, listening to a lecture, you start to feel hunger, you start thinking about donuts, the roundness of them, the frosting, the glaze. Is there chocolate on it? How about sprinkles? Is there a hole in the middle? Is it cream filled? The more you think about the donut, the more you're gonna want it. Our feelings lead to thoughts, and when we ruminate in our thoughts, we're gonna act on them. For those of you math junkies, here's the formula. Feelings plus thoughts equal action. When it's time to eat, what do you think you're gonna go have? Probably a donut. Now let's flip it. I posted a video of me doing stand-up comedy and I started watching for feedback. One day I noticed that I had a thumbs down. I couldn't even see who it was, but I couldn't stop talking about it and thinking about it. I'm like, who doesn't like me? How could they not like me? Am I not funny enough? Maybe they think I'm fat or ugly. What if they're thinking about what? And I just went on spinning. I wound up deleting the video. Maybe someone's called you a name. Maybe someone hurt you or wasn't there for you. Maybe you've been injured or came up short in some area. I'm not sure what it is for you, but we all have struggles. We all go through things that make us ask the question, do I even matter? In those moments, it's important to be able to fact check that fake news in your head and see if it lines up with the truth. When I was growing up, fake news wasn't as real as it is today. People post things on socials all the time that aren't true, and other people share it, and all of a sudden we have these myths or urban legends, and they become known as the truth. It's the same with our thought life. As girls in society, we're told all kinds of fake news. Like in order to be valued, you need to have a hot body, or you can't be successful or a leader, or make a certain amount of money because you're a girl, or you can't compete with boys, or you're only good for sex. That's called objectification. There's all sorts of lies that we need to sift through and hold up against the truth of who you are. And the truth is you matter, and so do I. Imagine you had a $100 bill. It could get you 1/8 of a way to some new Yeezys, or buy you 100 things you don't need from the dollar store. It has value, it's worth $100. Now imagine I stomp on it, throw it in the toilet, crumple it all up. What if I ripped it down the middle? Does it still have value? Yeah, it does. It's still $100, and it's still worth that in your wallet. It can still do all the things you can do with $100. You're the same. No matter what's happened to you, no matter what's been said to you, no matter how many followers you have, whether you have a blue check mark on Instagram or not, whether you're TikTok famous, no matter how you may have been treated, you have value. You matter.